Awareness grows faster than integration. Your ego doesn't die, it gets smarter. It tries to level up to meet you at your current consciousness state. Because of the mental prison or the mental cage I created myself due to clinging to my old identity. And later, I will call that collapse the best thing that ever happened to me. Someone did black magic to me. Someone did witchery. I am being cursed. That's how desperate I am, looking for the answers on the outside, pointing the outside. That wasn't healing because I was still looping. I was just searching for something bigger while my old identity was dying. You can change from the city you are at to another city, to another country. I went to the other side of the world, from Colombia all the way to Vietnam, and the same patterns showed up in front of me. And that's when something clicked. The outside reality, it's not a cause, it's a reflection. Whatever the place you're at, it's just an illusion. You do not attract what you want. You attract what you are.
3-1, hold shot, runway 34.
Roger, hold short, runway 34.
Let me ask you something. Have you ever told yourself this time it's different, but still end up in the same place? New week, new plan, new person, same result. Different scene, but same result. Same money problem, just wearing a different outfit, same relationship story, same fights, or you change partners, but it is the same partner in a different body. Same fight, new name on your phone, and same script. So new partner, new face, same emotional prison. You leave the relationship and the relationship follows you. Even in friendships, you don't keep meeting new people, you keep meeting the same lesson. Or at work, same drama, different company logo. And you're trying. You're doing sessions, you're consuming the content, the podcasts, but end up in the same situation. That's what I call shadow loops. Not a curse, not a moral failure, just a pattern that keeps winning because something inside of us keeps feeding it. And when you're tired of the old escape, you upgrade the custom. And for me, that upgrade looked noble. Meditation, chakras, frequencies, high consciousness language. It looked like growth, but the results were still looping. So this episode is not to teach you how to behave. It's a mirror. It's the illusion of growth. Your sincere heart versus your unintegrated shadows. Because sometimes the light becomes our most sophisticated shadow. And the way out is the moment you stop performing. Let the light in and let the discomforts surface the gifts that are hidden behind the darkness of your shadows. Hi, my name is Mateo. I am an airline pilot living in Asia and a lifelong seeker of self-development and wisdom. Welcome to Inner Navigation. Here, I take you with me through real shadow work and self-development as they happen in real life, not in theory, to reveal the internal mechanics behind our repeating loops and patterns. You'll hear my own process of transformation as it unfolds and the real tools that help me change from the inside out. This isn't about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you came here to be, your authentic, grounded, and abundant self. So let's dive in.
34, 0-degree 16 knots, runway 34, clear for takeoff.
0 takeoff, runway 34.
In the episode 4, I was at the bottom. I was hiding from the legal in my farmhouse with a total uncertainty and a collapse in my identity. Not because the land that I was at was small, but because of the mental prison or the mental cage I created myself due to clinging to my old identity. And later, I will call that collapse the best thing that ever happened to me. But this episode is what happens right after. The crack didn't heal me, but it led me to start searching. I searched everywhere except the place that really mattered. I didn't know who to pray to anymore. I had to step out of the old belief system that I grew up with. And feeling guilty just for questioning it. I remember sitting in the farmhouse where I used to hide from the legal system, and I was telling my mom, someone did black magic to me. Someone did witchery. I am being cursed. That's how desperate I am, looking for the answers in the outside, pointing the outside, because it didn't occur to me that the answer and the situations were just a reflection of something that was going out in the inside.
2是刚才都是选择他们在拿得到自己的偏102。
So I started searching Gaia, which is a streaming platform for esoteric knowledge and spirituality, meditation, chakras, frequencies, and that's when the word started. One part of me that was trained by my old religion kept whispering in me, dark, forbidden, dangerous. I was gaining new knowledge and losing my old map at the same time. So I got confused, disconnected from reality. From the outside, I was going crazy, or that's what my family thought. Inside, it was simpler. My old religion called it dark, and I didn't even have the language for what I was touching. That wasn't healing, because I was still looping. I was just searching for something bigger while my old identity was dying. When the old escape stopped working, I didn't become enlightened. I found a more meaningful escape. Same pain, new packaging. I went from numbing with parties to numbing with spirituality. And sometimes it's not alcohol, but sometimes it's a subtler shadow called busyness. Not business, busyness. And this is the one that makes people focus on the small question marks and forget about the big question marks. We light tiny fires to feel productive. We overstimulate ourselves so we don't have to feel. That's the same numbing that we were talking about in episode number 2, but wearing a suit.
100 meters, turn left out to B4 with your own navigation.
COVID restriction eased, and somehow the legal pressure eased too. I rented a studio. I tried to be responsible. I built the business. Even I built the business with my girlfriend, and from the outside, it looks like rebuilding. But inside, I was still looping. I would isolate and chase stimulation. I would preach growth, then avoid my own discomfort. The loop didn't disappear. It became respectable. Then I came to Vietnam for the very first time. New air, new culture, new mind. It genuinely expanded me. And here's the part no one wants to hear. You can change from the city you are at to another city, to another country. I went to the other side of the world, from Colombia all the way to Vietnam. And the same patterns showed up in front of me. Same dynamics, same types of people, same emotional lessons. Different faces, same script. And that's when something clicked. The outside reality, it's not a cause, it's a reflection. Whatever the place you're at, it's just an illusion. You do not attract what you want, you attract what you are. A few months later, I came back to Colombia, and I came back with a better mindset and a lot of knowledge. Kundalini, spiritual systems, meditation, consciousness, energy. I was genuinely curious. I was genuinely devoted to it. So I wasn't longer studying spirituality. I started teaching it. Talking about crystals, teaching meditation, sound healing, Kundalini systems, and all the things that had opened my mind. And yes, it marked the beginning of a new identity. I started making content for the very first time. I started speaking from that place, and people began to see me as the spiritual guy. And this is important. That part of the story isn't wrong. It's not something I reject. That was necessary because every layer I touched helped me break another one. I was gaining knowledge. I was breaking certain loops. And at the same time, other loops were running in the background. And that's how shadow work actually works. Not a decision, not an identity, but layers. Daily layers, lifelong layers. My heart was sincere, but my shadows were still unintegrated. And even though I was teaching about divinity, I didn't yet understand it, how it feels to manifest in matter. I understood it in language, but not yet my body. I wasn't fake. I wasn't lost. I was early. And that phase, that identity, was part of the process that allowed me to keep peeling layers instead of collapsing under guilt.
Climbing down 6,900 meters.
They were masks, and I want to be clear about this. These masks were not a mistake. They were stages. They were the way my system learned how to survive while I kept peeling layers. The first mask was the teacher mask. I was giving advice I wasn't fully living yet. And not because I wanted to deceive, but because teaching was the layer that helped me approach what I still couldn't face directly. I felt needed, and feeling needed was safer than being fully honest with myself. The second mask, I call it the too conscious for this mask. I used energy language not to escape from reality, but to protect myself from conversations I didn't yet have the capacity to hold. I judged instead of relating, because relating would have meant letting my nervous system feel more than it was ready for. And under all of it, the look behind the light. I still choose partners from loneliness. I still ignore red flags. I still avoided the most uncomfortable work, not because I didn't care, but because that layer hasn't been reached yet. I wasn't healing. I wasn't broken. I was building meaning faster than my body could integrate. I was smart. I could read people. I had learned that skill early, not because of power, but because of survival. And when I entered spirituality, that intelligence didn't disappear, it just evolved. I started understanding psychology, emotional dynamics, spiritual language. And here is the subtle danger. When awareness grows faster than integration, your ego doesn't die, it gets smarter. It tries to level up to meet you at your current consciousness state. So instead of numbing with chaos, I could numb with explanation. Instead of avoiding the discomfort, I could justify it intelligently. I didn't say, I don't want to feel this. I said, this is karmic, this is low vibrational, this is a projection. Not to deceive others, but to protect myself from what I wasn't ready to feel yet. And that's what awareness without integration really means. It doesn't make you evil, it makes your masks more sophisticated. And I need to be honest about this one. This could have turned into spiritual arrogance, manipulation, self-deception. This could have gone very wrong.
Maintain speed to 50 knots or less.
So here's the loop. Discomfort, a reflex to escape, a quick bypass, temporary relief, numbing. Same outcome, same life, same patterns. So here is the key. The doorway is discomfort. Not later, now. The discomfort you are feeling at this moment. Not after you understand it, but right there. The exact moment you want to escape is the exact moment something real is trying to surface. That's where the gift is hiding. If you keep feeding the escape, the loop stays alive. If you stay with the discomfort, even a little, imperfectly, its grip starts to weaken. A spiritual ego doesn't make us fake. It means something in us is protecting us from raw pain by wrapping it in meaning. The shadows aren't evil. They are the storage of the gifts that are there to reach our highest potential. A lot of our power is hidden inside what we avoid. And you don't find those gifts in the comfort. You find them at the edge of the discomfort. And if you feel guilt about your past, that's not truth. That's the second test. Guilt doesn't purify. Guilt loops.
Control altitude restriction is set at 3,000 meters on standard.
Now let's bring this out of poetry. Bring it to your actual life. Look at your day. Look at the places you already go. Your house, your work, your cockpit, your colleague, your partner, the interaction in messages, your inbox. And ask yourself honestly, where are the same loops quietly repeating in my life right now? Is it money, Is it relationships, authority, conflict, procrastination, emotional distance? And now the uncomfortable part. What excuse am I telling myself or telling others so I don't have to sit with the discomfort? You know that it's not the right time. I need to heal more first. They wouldn't understand. I'll do it later after this course, after this retreat, after this insight. And where am I using healing tools as a mask? Instead of walking out of my house, opening my eyes, and facing the work that is already in front of me, that conversation I keep postponing, that decision I keep avoiding, the responsibility I keep spiritualizing. And also, feel this carefully. What discomfort shows up in my body when you imagine doing the honest thing? Not the dramatic fear, but the quiet one, the one you usually override. And here's the refrain. That sensation of your body, that discomfort, it's a sign that you're doing something wrong. It's a signal, an invitation, a layer asking to be integrated into your life. And I'll go first. There were moments where I knew what the honest action was. I felt it clearly and I still didn't take it. When I avoid responsibility, my body starts telling me immediately. Emptiness in my chest, my mouth fills with saliva, tightness in my body, my energy drains. Not traumatic, just a quiet signal in my body that the work is not somewhere else. It's here, at this moment. I am avoiding feeling the discomfort. And then something deeper revealed itself. These shadow loops aren't random. They are generated, not by the world, but by us, by our design, our beliefs, our conditioning, our unintegrated shadows. We don't just live inside the systems, we participate in creating them. Our soul designed this playground where these patterns could appear as mirrors, so the situations we keep living aren't punishments. They are invitations in this expansion game we agreed to play. And in this game, we are both the player and the character. In the next episode, we'll go deeper into this, not escaping the matrix, but understanding how we generate it. You don't just wake up inside reality, you wake up remembering that you helped design it.